Survivor Series, War Games, we're in the dying stages and Kevin Owens is nose to nose with Sami Zayn. Jey Uso comes from the side and he's looking for a super kick on Owens, but he pulls Zayn in front and Jey nails Zayn. Owens takes the chance, hits a stunner on Jey Uso, and the brawling brutes, McIntyre and Owens, win War Games. But it doesn't end there. Zayn and Jey Uso are about to do battle themselves. But quickly, it turns even more sour when Roman Reigns comes through and drops both Jey and Sami Zayn. He's sick and tired of both of them. Reigns leaves both men laying and the bloodline in tatters. And the next night, the tension does not end. Jey confronts Roman Reigns. He has a very simple proposition. He says, listen, I know why you did what you did. I know why you put your hands on me. Tough love, right? Well, here's my tough love, Oos. You choose, right now, me or Sami. There isn't room for both of us. And Reigns thinks about it for a second, and Jey Uso hates this. He cuts him off before he can even answer, and he says, if you even have to think about this, I'll make it easy for you. I'm out. Whoa. Jey! This isn't very Oosy of you, my dog. And Reigns cuts off Sami and says, you fall back too, or I'll put you down again. Paul, talk to Jey. Get him back on side and fix this. And the next week, Kevin Owens is out to say that after he won War Games for his team, he thinks he should get a shot at Roman Reigns sooner rather than later. But since Roman is running scared, he vows that he's going to win the Royal Rumble and end everything. He's going to end the Reign of Terror, because that's what he does as a prize fighter, and his prize is now the Undisputed Championship. And watching him say this is Jey Uso backstage. He's approached by Paul Heyman, and Heyman says, Jey, we're a family. We built this together. And then Jimmy cuts him off and says, with all due respect, Paul, this is a family matter. So let me talk to my brother. And Jimmy says, listen, this is what families do. We fight, but we're always blood. We need you. He needs us. I don't think him putting his hands on you was okay, but this is how we are. This is how we handle business in our family. You know that more than anyone. Let's keep this strong. Jey, albeit reluctantly, agrees with his brother. He rejoins with the bloodline, but it feels like the cracks are larger than ever. And with Jey coming around, the bloodline seems to be in reasonable shape, but Roman Reigns says he wants to secure the future of the group. He says, I've had the wise man pull some strings, and he's got each and every one of you in the Royal Rumble. And I want all of you to work together. That way, we protect the championship no matter what. It's gonna stay with the family. Now, Sami, you have a match, so go and win it for the bloodline. Sami has the chance to prove himself to Roman Reigns, and he and Cross have a fantastic contest, but Cross has him locked in the cross jacket, and Zayn is fading fast, but he's a fighter. He's fought his whole career, and somehow he fights out, and he digs down deep. Cross throws him into the corner, runs at Zayn, but Zayn catches him, and he nails him with an exploder directly into the turnbuckles. Cross is in trouble. He crawls up the corner, and Zayn winds him up, and ruthlessly smashes him with a haluva kick. Zayn picks up the win, but that's only the start of the night for him. We see Jimmy and Jey dragging out Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn looks completely shocked, but Jey props him up in the corner, and he's yelling at Sami. He says, prove to us that you're bloodline. Prove that you belong. Prove that we can even trust you. They want him to deliver a haluva kick. And Zayn doesn't even know what to do. And now Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman are watching from the entrance as well. Zayn is agonized by the decision, and he makes the call. He leaves the ring, and Jey is yelling at Sami from the ring. And he says, you're pathetic. You ain't bloodline. You're nothing. You're useless. You're a snake. Roman Reigns' prophecy is close to being fulfilled. An all-bloodline WrestleMania main event is so close. The final four in the Royal Rumble is Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, and Kevin Owens. Rhodes has been in since number 1 and had an incredible run, but his American dream is snuffed out unceremoniously by Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. But Owens, being Owens, doesn't hold back. He goes at Jey Uso, and Owens and Jey trade shots back and forth. Zayn, however, does hold back. He is hesitant to get involved, and Jey Uso eventually wins the battle. He drags Kevin Owens to the corner. Zayn is just watching on, and Jey could probably eliminate Owens, but he wants Sami to do it. And he screams at him again. He says, "Prove to us, prove to me that you're bloodline. Do it, Sami. Eliminate him." Zayn again, faced with the impossible decision, makes that decision. He runs towards them, but instead of hitting Owens, Owens pulls Jey in front of himself, and Sami hits him with a haluva kick and sends him tumbling to the floor. And it's down to Zayn and Owens in the Royal Rumble. Owens flings himself at Zayn. They both collide, and both men fly over the top rope. And the verdict is in. Zayn wins. And even though Owens is distraught, he still finds it within himself to shake Sami's hand. He lets his friend have his moment. He leaves the ring, and immediately Jey Uso drops him and starts taking out his frustrations. But Zayn doesn't want to see any of it. He grabs Jey and he flings him off him. Tensions are high, and Jey Uso and Sami Zayn are looking like they're going to fight again. But the tribal chief comes out. Roman Reigns gets in between them, and he gets Jey to leave ringside. And he congratulates Sami Zayn and walks off. Tensions between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso couldn't be higher. Jey is face to face with Reigns, and he's telling him that he doesn't think Sami Zayn can be trusted. "We can't trust this guy, Roman. He's going to screw this whole thing up, and he's going to end up taking your titles." "What did you say? You think he could beat me?" It's then though, Paul Heyman bursts into the room. He says, my tribal chief, we have a massive problem. I just got word that Triple H is about to make a huge announcement, and if it's what I think it isn't good." And Triple H's big announcement is that at Elimination Chamber, one of the 6 men entering the structure will get a shot at Roman Reigns before WrestleMania. And that qualifying matches are starting tonight. And Reigns sees this. He springs into action and he says, "Paul, get everybody in a room." And once everyone is congregated, Roman Reigns addresses everybody. And he says, "Paul, I want you to get Solo a qualifying spot." And Heyman is confused. He says, "But my tribal chief is part of the family." And Roman says, "Paul, what's the goal here?" And Heyman says, "To keep the championship in the family." And Roman says, "Exactly. So go get him a spot." You keep it in the family, Oos. Keep it Oosy at all times. 100. 100, my dogs. Sami, what the hell are you talking about? Get back in line. Roman walks off and everybody is tense. Except Zayn. He screams, "Everyone, bloodline on 3. 1, 2, 3, bloodline!" Guys, you meant to do it all together. Guys. Whatever. Heyman pulls some strings and Solo has his qualifying match. He's facing Sheamus, a man with a rich history with the bloodline. It's a tough match as you'd expect, and remarkably, it's actually Sami Zayn and Jey Uso who come down to help. They get in a wild brawl with Butch and Holland at ringside, but quickly dispatch them. Sheamus has seen enough. He slides to the outside looking for a bro kick on Zayn, but he moves and Sheamus hits Jey instead. Sheamus turns to Zayn, but Zayn runs away. He lures Sheamus into the ring, and Sheamus gets nailed with a super kick. It's the perfect diversion. Solo goes up top, nails a splash, and he's officially in the Elimination Chamber. But the question still remains, why does Roman want his own family challenging for the titles? Well, that comes to light. Roman's telling Sami and Solo just how proud he is. He says, "You two have secured the Bloodline's future. We can now keep the championships in the family. Once Solo wins Elimination Chamber, we have total control of our destiny." Solo seems a little suspect. He's curious just what Roman means by control of his destiny. But Sami just says, "We're keeping it in the family, my dog. Doing it for the fam." Bloodline on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bloodline! Why doesn't anybody do that with me? Down to 2, and as fate would have it, it's Kevin Owens and Solo Sikoa. Owens goes for broke, but Sikoa is there. He grabs Owens and he rips him off the top of the pod, and Owens crashes and burns. Solo takes advantage. Now he scales the pod. He leaps off with a giant splash for the massive win. Sikoa wins it. He secures the future of the Bloodline even more. He wins a shot at Roman Reigns before WrestleMania. And Solo Sikoa is celebrating the big win, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have a moment on the ramp. So now the Bloodline have even more control. The championship is secure with them until after WrestleMania. And Paul Heyman is banging the drum about it on SmackDown. He says, "Next week, we are going to see the ultimate sacrifice for the family. Solo Sikoa is going to help us keep the championship in the Bloodline. And he will hand it to the Tribal Chief. He is going to keep the title in the family, and he's going to do it for the greater good." And then Sikoa comes straight out and he says, No. The title is staying within the Bloodline. That doesn't mean it has to stay on Roman. This isn't what we agreed, Paul. It's then Roman Reigns storms out and things get real tense. Guys, let's keep it oozy, okay? We're just keeping it in the family, my dogs. Just relax. And Roman says to Sami, "You'll do the same thing. You'll do it for the greater good as well, just like Solo will next week." Solo is not happy, and he storms off. He doesn't want to lay down for anyone. This is threatening to ruin the entire integrity of the championship, all for Roman Reigns' legacy. Solo Sikoa is conflicted, and he's confiding in his brothers. Just before he goes out for his match with Roman Reigns, he's talking to Jay and Jimmy. And Jay straight up immediately says, "No chance. You don't lay down for anyone. You go out there and you fight him." And Jimmy says, "Now hold on, Jay. Listen. We're a unit. We're a family. We need to think bigger picture. F*** the bigger picture. We don't step down to anybody. Listen, Solo. You do what you think is right, but I don't think you should lay down shit." The bell rings. What will Sikoa do? Reigns just stands there and he looks across the ring at Solo and he says, "For the family, Solo. Do it for the family. Preserve the bloodline." Sikoa leaves. The referee counts him out. It's incredibly disappointing and the crowd is shaking the building with boos. Roman Reigns celebrates and the crowd can't stand it. The Usos are at the end of the entrance and Solo is incredibly disappointed. He went through the hell of Elimination Chamber for that. Jay is furious. Jimmy is starting to see what's happening as well. And we are on the cusp of WrestleMania and Sami Zayn is the final hope. But he seems more bought in than anybody. On the eve of WrestleMania, Kevin Owens approaches Sami Zayn one final time. He says, "Sami, this would be the worst thing you've ever done in your career. You've never once laid down for anyone or anything. Whether you were gunning for me at the Rumble or not, I don't care. We've been through a lot. I've turned on you, you've turned on me. But you laying down to Roman is career suicide. You have a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Think about all the times when we were trying to break in. All we wanted was to main event WrestleMania. You could main event WrestleMania and win the championship. Think about it. He's only in it for himself. He doesn't care about you. You have the ability. And if you want to do it, you can. And if it can't be me who stops him, I just hope it's you." The bell rings and Reigns stands still. He says, "It's time to do what's right, Sami. It's time to do it for the family." "What the hell are you doing, Sami?" And Zayn, he's not going to lay down. He thinks back to what Kevin Owens said. He thinks back to NXT when he was told he wasn't good enough to beat Neville. All the times he's been walked on by the bloodline. He decides he's going to fight. And he takes a mega beating from Reigns. He throws him all over the ringside area. He bloodies him up. But he will not lay down. And he fights and fights and fights, and he manages to nail Reigns with a haluva kick. It's then that Jay, Jimmy, and Solo run out. They get on the apron. It's all too familiar. Not again. But instead of ruining the match, one by one, they jump off the apron. Solo, Jimmy, and even Jay realize that in reality, the only person who has ever been truly loyal is Sami. Reigns is hurting. He's had time to recover though. He runs at Zayn for a spear, but Sami reverses it into a blue thunderbomb. Reigns is vulnerable. He crawls to the corner, and just like in NXT, Zayn steadies himself. He's ripped the Honorarius shirt off, and with tears in his eyes, he says, "I said I would do it for the family. My real family." Does it. Sami wins the championship. And he does it for the family. His real family.